Steeler Nation? I'm your host, G. Stryker, and welcome to your Steeler Nation podcast, part of the DK Pittsburgh Sports podcast network, and sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. Today, we're also sponsored by mybookie.ag. Use promo code STEELER to double your first deposit and have free access to their $50,000 Survivor contest at mybookie.ag. Today, we have a Pittsburgh Steeler alum who set a team record for total yardage, total return yardage for a single season, which still stands today. I have the pleasure of having on our show today, Stefan Logan. Stefan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you doing? Hey, and I still hold that record, and I really appreciate you having me on your show.
I know, and I looked that up too. I just wanted to make sure that you are still the record holder for Pittsburgh Steelers single season total return yardage, and we love having you because man,
Antoine Randall held that record before I broke it.
Yep. Have you ever talked to L after that? Did you have to rub that in anytime you see him after that?
I think I spoke to him one time after that, and I was like, hey, I didn't even know I had broke his record until after the game, but I think I did speak to him, and I said, hey, I think I did break your record, right? He kind of laughed about it. So, yeah, I spoke to him one time after.
Well, that's cool. And tell Steeler Nation where in Steeler Nation you're currently living.
I'm in Miami, Florida. I stay in Fort Lauderdale. And, man, if you ever come down to Miami, hey, y'all more than welcome to join us. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. I started my own boat rental company.
Yeah.
So it's called Low Square. We'll inform y'all just a little bit more about it when we get into it.
Sweet. That's great, man. And hey, we all got to keep busy after retirement, right?
Oh, yeah, we got to keep busy, man. I knew once I got done, I was like, man, I don't really want to work for anybody. So me and my wife, we thought about it. We started doing it on our own, and it's been going pretty good. I can't complain.
Awesome. That's great, Stefan. And I know you were drafted by the Dolphins. Obviously, you're living there in Miami. I guess that was kind of like your hometown area growing up, wasn't it?
Yeah. You know what? When I came into the Dolphins, I was a free agent when I came in. And, man, it was crazy because I just felt like it was like a dream come true. And I was like, hey, I'm from Miami, Florida. I got the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to be playing for them. The stadium, the game stadium, MetLife Stadium, not MetLife, but Hard Rock Stadium, MetLife. Hard Rock Stadium is actually 5 to 6 minutes from my house where I grew up at. And it was like, everything was like, oh, man, I'm right here. And it was a blessing, to be down here from Miami, Florida. Got a chance to save some money, stay with my parents for that time I was there. And then I moved out and got my own place.
Well, then I know after your rookie season, you ended up going up to British Columbia and playing for the BC Lions for a year. How different was it for you, who's obviously been in the U.S. your whole life, of course, of the Miami being where you called home, and now going up to the Pacific Northwest in Vancouver? What was that like? Was there a culture shock up there? But what was it like playing up there?
There was definitely a culture shock, I must say. It was also different because I was around a different type of people. It was a different living for me. It was more of a slow down, get to know you type people compared to Miami fast life. Everybody kind of looking at you sideways every time you're doing something. It's almost like living in Miami is like it's like a competition, and now it's more like a tourist city. Like everybody want to come here, visit, go to the beaches, go to the malls, do all the fun stuff, but nobody really want to stay here and live because cost of living, of course, is a little crazy. Not like California, but it's getting a little out of hand every now and then, depending on what area you're staying in. And but you get the sun, just like right now, it's sunny as I don't know what outside. It's about 90 degrees outside right now. We got everything you need. So when I moved up to British Columbia, it was different. The game was different. The city was different. It's kind of one of those places when you got there, it's like, I'm this far away from Miami, Florida, but it was fun. It was fun. It was a great city. I got a chance to see, like, I'll be in one area and I can see the mountains way over there. Yeah. And you can drive 20 minutes and then I'm almost close to where I was just looking. I can look down. Now you're looking down.
Yeah.
So it was different, but I adapted to it. It was pretty good, though. I really enjoyed being in BC.
And how was it then playing, obviously bigger field, longer field, wider field? Do the coaches then in Canada, are they all Canadian coaches, or do they have coaches from America come up there as well? And what was it just like playing in the different rules and the different different field size?
Well, the first thing I had to do was adapt to the field,
Mhm.
because you have a larger field, which is
Yeah,
longer, which is 120 yards longer.
right.
I mean, it like
It's
100
120
yards in
yards.
a 120
Yes,
yard field. Then you have
right.
a 65-yard wide field. So you
Mm,
running, if you're on one hash, you still got about 40 yards to go to the next hash. It was like, wow, like you have to really have some endurance to play in Canada, because
wow.
we done seen some of the fastest guys come up there and get caught, because the field is so
Mm,
long, and
yeah.
you might have got caught because you was tired on a play.
Mm,
So it's not saying that
wow.
he would ran you down on an average play, but it was that time
Yeah.
you just didn't have the gas like you wanted to.
Mm,
But in NFL and the CFL, you got NFL, you got 4 downs, CFL, you
mm,
got 3
three.
downs.
Yeah.
The rules is a little bit different, but
Mm,
if you're a football player and you've been playing for a long time, you will adapt to the situation pretty quick.
yeah.
You got a bigger football.
Mm,
You got 12 guys on the field instead of 11.
mm.
Some teams we play against, everybody's on the same sideline. Both teams on the same sideline.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah.
some teams they can switch it, but they like it.
Mm,
They feel like that's how they've been doing it for 100 years.
mhm.
That's how they do it. So it's a
Wow.
little different, but you'll adapt to it.
Mm,
After like maybe a couple weeks, you
mhm.
start learning how everything go, and you'll pick it up, and it'll be fine.
And you had an incredible season your first year up there. Um, and the Steelers, obviously they took notice of you, man. And how did you then hear that the Steelers were first interested in you? And do you remember who you spoke with?
Um, After that first year when I was in Canada, my agent called me and he said, "Hey, we got 2 teams right now
Mhm.
that want to sign you right now. We had the Carolina Panthers and we had the Pittsburgh Steelers."
Mm.
He didn't even let me decide which team I wanted to go to. He said, "Hey, we're going to the Steelers." And I was like, "All right, we're going to the Steelers."
Uh,
And I think he had talked to what's the GM that's there right now?
Kevin Kevin Colbert.
Kevin Colbert.
Yeah.
Yes. We talked to Kevin Colbert. He was real nice, and they said,
Mm,
"Hey, we want to bring you in." And I was like,
mm.
"All right, y'all want to bring me in, or y'all want to sign me to the team?" He's like, "We want to sign you to the team." I was like, "Oh, great!"
Yeah.
So, got that call, and after the season was over, when I talked to Kevin Colbert,
Right.
I was headed out. I was headed to Pittsburgh, and it was
Mm.
uh a great decision. And it was fun when I was there. I really enjoyed the coaches. I enjoyed the team. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the city. Like, if people don't understand, for some of these fans, that football players, not even the fans, but the football players, let me just tell you this.
Oh,
If you ever want to go to a team and it's your first experience coming out of college to go to a
mm.
football team, go to the Steelers. That's
Now,
the best fans you will ever have playing football.
nice. So,
Hands
so
down.
that's why you'd say that for people coming out of college, you go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the reason is because of the fans. But is there anything else specifically that you think separates Pittsburgh from other teams?
I would say what separate Pittsburgh from other teams, number one, would be the fans.
Mhm.
Because the
Yeah.
fans will bring a good player. They will bring that out of you because
Mm.
how they embrace you as a player.
Yeah.
And that's something that I was always a guy. I loved to entertain, and I loved to
Yeah.
entertain the people. So when the
Yeah.
fans would come to the games and they'll come to our practices, they knew who I was, coming from a Division II, smaller college, smaller
Yep.
guy,
Yep.
and they just knew who I was. They knew everything of it. They knew my stats. They knew where I was from. They knew where I grew up at. It was like, wow, like that made me want to play just that much more for those fans. And once I got in the
Wow.
locker room, I got a chance to meet the guys. Like, I'm there with that just came off a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah.
I'm there with Hall of Fame guys, and the list can go on. I don't have to name all these guys,
Right.
but
Right.
and then Mike Tomlin, great football coach. He's a
Mhm.
player's coach,
Yeah.
and it's just so much I can say about that team and that coaching staff that I was there with. It was just different for me. It was like a
Mm.
warm, welcoming feeling that they was embracing me, knowing they like, okay, this guy coming from a Division II college, smaller college, but he coming
Right.
from a big city. So I know all the
Yeah.
ins and outs. But the football part of it was like, okay, I didn't play at a Division One. I didn't go to the University of Texas, and I didn't go to the
Right.
Alabamas and the Oklahomas. But I'm able to get out here on this field and play with the best of the best with you guys, which y'all went to Florida States, the UMs, Alabamas, the Clemsons,
Right.
and stuff like that. So
Right.
that never played a part in what I was doing when I was on the field. So that helped me a lot.
So you mentioned it too, coming from a Div 2 school. How did you end up going to South Dakota from, being born and raised in the Miami, Florida area?
That's a long story, but I'll make a long story short.
Okay.
I end up, I got a little bit of trouble when I was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And I sat out 3 years before I went to college.
Yeah.
I went to University of South Dakota, and it was more of I had to find my lane. I had to find my what my life was going after I got in trouble. It was like, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to go work at at a regular, like a Walmart, Publix, a grocery store, or you go finish your career, what you started and what you're good and you're passionate about, and that was playing football. So my dad, God, rest in peace. My dad passed away last year. My dad used to be on me 24/7. He used to be on me like, you need to get out there on that field. You need to get out there on that field. You need to get out there on that field. And I didn't watch no football for 3 years. I didn't play football. Like, it was just, it was so hard for me to watch it. And I was just like, man, what am I going to do? And it was like God just like sprinkled some salt on me. It was like, this is what I want you to do. Go do this in these steps this way, and you're going to make it. And it's like I was just following the avenue that he was giving me. And then once that happened, it was over after that. Then I ended up at University of South Dakota.
Hey, and God told you to go there, and you were successful all 4 years, over 1,000 yards each of the 4 seasons. I mean, one of only a handful of players to ever do that in Div 2, and it's a feat, man. Especially being a freshman and throwing you right into the right into the mix immediately, and then coming through and just being successful all through your career. So many blessings from that, and I'm glad you had that experience as well. So now that you're playing in Pittsburgh and you're playing front fans, you made the team. Was there anything that you felt that you could bring to Pittsburgh that, with your experiences, obviously from South Dakota, and also from the CFL, was there anything that you were able to bring to the team too to help them?
I knew I was going to bring some excitement. I knew that was just a no-brainer. I knew I was going to bring some excitement to the team. I knew I was going to bring some humor. I was going to bring, like a guy that's going to give you 100% every time he's out there on the field. So I knew that was a given. So once I got out there on the field and I got a chance to meet those guys and I got a chance to play in front of the Steeler Nation and watch those fans, and I'm looking up in the stands and watching the terrible towels, and it was a great atmosphere for me. And it was like I really enjoyed playing for Pittsburgh, because each and every game, it was a big game for us. And it was like, okay, the stadium was going to be packed to the T. And I knew once we came, whether it was hot or cold, I knew we was going to have a great crowd out there. So, I knew coming from South Dakota, I knew what I was going to bring. I knew I was going to bring a different dynamic to the game, to the Pittsburgh Steelers locker room. They was going to get a guy that was going to work hard, going to give you everything he got when he's out there on the field. But I'm also have a smile on my face, and I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing.
Oh, so that's great to hear, man. Good to have that great attitude, like much like Hines Ward. Like, I mean, he's a smiling guy as well.
What, Hines Ward, man, Hines Ward was a great dude, man. I was there when he was there.
Yep.
He was a captain, and one thing about him, he gave us some great stories coming from college, being a rookie. He gave us some great stories, and it was some stuff that it stuck with me until this day. When I was playing, it was like, okay, I remember Hines was telling me that. It was like, whether it was on and off the field, he always gave us great advice on what we should do and how to do it, and that's going to help you throughout your career.
Can you remember like a specific,
Hines Ward?
Awesome. Awesome. Can you remember a specific story that he tell you that still resonates with you or resonated with you at the time?
I have I don't want to say it's bad, but I have one, not two. I remember was coming in, and I think he was going through. I don't know if he was going through something with his son's mother, and he said, "Before you guys get married, finish playing football first. Before you get married, be done with football, or pretty much like already like going out the door, because." It was just different, and I didn't really understand what he was saying at the time because I was fresh, I was young, and I was just like, I just wanted to play. So I was just like, okay, I wouldn't really grasp what he was saying until you got married, until you started having kids. So that was one thing that he told us that I still remember to this day. When he told me at the time, I didn't understand, but I remember now.
Sorry about that. I got
Oh, no, you good.
And I know, it's in my damn pocket. With the earphones on, I can't tell where it is. I'm just turning off my phone here. Sorry about that.
Nah, you good.
We can edit that.
The editing team, y'all make sure y'all edit that out, okay? And it was another story. He told us. He said, for you guys that's coming in, y'all gonna get a lot of money. These checks gonna be some when y'all get your first check. And you see them zeros and you see them numbers, and you're going to be like, man, I want to go buy this. I want to go buy that. I want to go buy this. He said, don't spend all your money on them cars, and don't go spending your money at the clubs and do all that. He said, look, even if you don't go and buy no land and all that, he said, man, get you a house. He said, because that is what's going to carry you a long way. Because you got somewhere to lay your head. You got a roof over your head. My dad used to tell me that all the time. So that was something that he told me that I always remember. Because his house that he had when he was in Atlanta, we went there he used to have his party every year, and man, that house was huge. That house was huge. I don't think he have it anymore, but that house that he stayed in Atlanta was huge. So that was something that stuck with me when he gave us some advice to the wide receivers.
And that's smart too, because at least real estate's a good investment. You're a young player, you've got money, and you put that money down, you're going to get that money back out, and usually 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get more money back out than you just purchasing that property. So that's a really smart, savvy advice there from Hines Ward. That's great.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate that.
So then after, with the Steelers specifically, was there any, what was pretty much one of your favorite games that you played in that you can remember wearing the black and gold?
Of course, when I played in the preseason, I ran that punt back, and that's how I made the team. That was like my greatest moment right there. But it was one game in particular. It was actually the first game of the season. It was the first game of 2009 season playing against the Tennessee Titans. And I was coming out of the tunnel. It was just crazy. You know, we got Steeler Towers going on. They got the music playing. It was so loud. People jumping up and down. And I'm standing on the sideline. And they did the coin toss and everything, and it was like receivers want to, Tennessee want to decline. Steelers going to take the ball, and I seen the guy do this right here, and it was like, which way we want to kick in and go this way, and I'm like, so I'm kind of in shock right now because I'm like, okay, if we receive this ball, I'm going out there first. Like I'm so like it's like in a tunnel, and I'm like kind of blurry right now. Yeah, and I remember we get in the huddle. And I remember Mike Tomlin. I remember somebody that was like, "Come on, look," because Mike Tomlin used to always say, "Put the little dude." He's like, so when I got in the huddle, he was like, "Come on, little man, do something with get us some yards." I was like, "All right, coach." And I got back there, and the return was going. I remember the return was going to the left. Okay. And when I was going to the left, you wouldn't be able to see it. Even when it's on a clip, you wouldn't be able to see it. But I'm looking, I see the guy, he cut off the field where I need to go, and he would have hit me from the side. So I just said, okay. I just kind of went to the right a little bit, kind of aborted the return just a little bit, and I end up getting us to midfield. And if you do that, coach is not going. They're not going to scream and holler if you get them like a 50-yard return. They're not right. They're like good return. And I got us midfield, and I jumped up, and everybody came and just pat me on my head and everything. And that was the greatest moment, greatest feeling ever, man. I was like, wow, like these guys really see what I'm doing. Like they embracing it. It was great, man. I'm telling you, it's like you sit on the sideline and doing your best to keep your composure and not cry because you finally made it. You know, it was fun, man. I enjoyed every bit of it.
And then you go out and make a big play, which was the first play the Steelers made in regular season after winning a Super Bowl the previous year. So that's, of course, the crowd was way into it. You got the 2009 season started off on a high, and that was a great game. I remember that one. That was the one Troy Polamalu, I think, did the one-handed interception down there.
Like I said, that season went so fast. I can remember a lot, but I can't remember some things because it was like it was going so fast because that was my first year. You know, coming from the Dolphins, but it's like my first professional NFL game, NFL career, if I want to say, was just getting started. And it was like everything you look at, you're like, wow. You could never sit down and really just like if I had hair, like let your hair down. I couldn't do that. It was just like going so fast. Yeah. And before you know it, it was like, okay, you know, season almost over. You're like, what? It was almost over. So, but that's kind of like how it went for us.
So then unfortunately the season did have to come to an end, and you ended up going and playing for the Lions for a few years, had some really successful seasons over there as well. How was your experience over there in Detroit?
It was a great experience. It wasn't like the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course. It wasn't the same because I'm coming from a winning organization going to if you want to say, not to downplay the Steelers, but you're going to a not so winning organization. Right. And it was a little different. You know, the coaching staff was different. The upstairs was different. You know, it was just a different coach. It was a different atmosphere when I was over there with Detroit. But one thing I can say, like, I really enjoyed our locker room. No matter if we were losing games or not, we still had a locker room that stayed together and guys wasn't pointing the fingers and stuff like that. Even though we was losing, it still was a great locker room, and we couldn't ask for much more of a locker room, you know, compared to coming from the Steelers. I'm coming from veterans. I'm coming from Super Bowl winning team to not so many veterans, younger guys, not coming off a Super Bowl team. So it was a little different. So you know, it was a little bit of an adjustment I had to make, but it still worked out for me in my favor.
You got the first season in Detroit, and your numbers in Detroit are even better than your Steelers single season record-setting numbers for return yardage.
Yeah, when I came in and when I went to Detroit, it was like, okay, now I understood what I was doing now. Okay, I'm like, okay, I know what my role is. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm supposed to do for this team. So, okay, the return game is me. So I got it. So now I'm a little more comfortable. Now I can kind of breathe a little bit, let my hair down if I had hair. and you know, it was offense wasn't that good, so I had more opportunities. So it was like, hey, you know, when you get out there, it's like, you know, do everything you can to give us the best field position possible. And it was almost like you had a lot of pressure on yourself because I had to do everything I can to scratch and claw for every little inch because the offense wasn't as good at the time. So, you know, I was putting up numbers, and I actually finished second on the Pro Bowl ballot that year as well behind Devin Hester. Which I was like,
Devin Hester's all world though. That guy, he's like making a Hall of Fame for being a returner, man. He was something else.
So it was actually pretty good for me because I got a chance to finish 2 years in a row. I finished on the Pro Bowl ballot 2 years in a row. I mean, it was second, but hey, you know, you can't complain. At least you was noticed by your teammates and the other team that you was the second best thing out there. So, you know, so that was always a good thing for me as well. I always kind of wear that too. I'm like, hey, I finished on the Pro Bowl ballot. Did you? You know, I didn't go to the Pro Bowl, but my name was mentioned. I wasn't even an honorable mention. I was second on the Pro Bowl ballot.
Right. And you actually got to run the ball too within the offense a little bit there in Detroit. So they were kind of working you into the offense a little bit. How fun was it to go out and run some plays?
It was fun, but it wasn't so fun because the only reason I'm gonna say it wasn't fun for me because I was a running back coming out of college.
Yes.
I was a running back my whole career from Park Warner to high school to college, all the way until I got to the pros, and that's when they switched me to receiver.
Okay.
And when they switched me to receiver, I was learning a whole new position all over again, something that I didn't do. I didn't know nothing of. The verbiage was different. The play calling was different because as a running back, we only got to hear certain things and we know what we're doing. If this is a run play, they say I write 22 power. Okay.
Right.
All I need to do is 22 power. I know where I'm going. At receiver, is I write 365, Denver, Colorado, Steelers Nation. You're like, what? So it's like, you had to get as bits and pieces of that you had to hit. At running back, all I need to do was 365.
Right.
That's all I needed.
Right. Yep.
The receiver, he got to hit Colorado, Steelers Nation. You got to hear all this. It's like, okay, what part goes to who?
Yeah.
So, it was a concept. So I had to learn that, and that was something that, they say they'll tell you it takes players like 2 to 3 years to learn a playbook in the NFL because it's so hard.
Right.
So I'm learning the playbook and I'm learning a whole new position. So it was like double work that I was doing that it kind of took a toll on me. And I was just like, I didn't even really try to learn the playbook no more. I just was like, man, let me just do the best I can as a returner and just make the best of it, because the playbook is hard. Me learning how to run a dig, a hitch, a go route, not a go route, but a dig, a hitch, a slant. Yeah. I'm trying to learn all these new positions at the same time. I'm like, this is not what I do. I take handoffs and catch a pass 3 yards out of the backfield. That's it.
Right.
And that was so different for me, and that was so frustrating on me. It was so it almost looked like you couldn't even play when I was on offense. But then when they put me at running back, that's when everybody started asking me. Even the media was like, what position do you play? I'm like, I'm a running back. That's why it looks so natural to you when you out. I said, that's what I kept trying to tell y'all. I'm not a receiver, I'm a running back.
Right.
So it was just God just blessed me to do everything, but I wanted to play running back. So yeah.
Well, one thing you cannot doubt ever about you were a football player. You put you're going to make plays. They put you on your field.
Yeah,
so.
I was a football player. It didn't matter where I was at. It didn't matter what position they put me at. Right. I was going to make plays. As long as I knew what I was doing, I was going to make plays.
And then your time in the Lions is finished up. You had 3 good years there, and then you go from the Detroit Lions back to the BC Lions. So how was your return trip to Vancouver?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Came back in, they welcomed me back into the team. Yeah. It was pretty much same management, same head coach.
Oh, great.
So it was easy. It was an easy, step back. They knew what they was getting. They knew I was going to come in. They knew I was going to get him 100% of my efforts when I'm on the field. So that was an easy transition for me. And, I was there for the end of 2013, 14, and then I went and played for Montreal and finished my career with Ottawa. So, it was a good football career for me. BC was good, Montreal was good, Ottawa was good. So I really don't have no complaints. It's just I wanted to play. I really didn't get a chance to play running back. But only time I played running back was my first year in Canada. In 2008. And I did great. Yeah. But it's like they just wanted me to be a returner. I'm like, I'm not just a returner. y'all wasting y'all time of not using me.
Yeah. No, I hear you there, but still, I mean, you're downplaying your accomplishments up there in the CFL, man. You went over 10,000 return yards. You're one of like I said, one of a handful of players that have ever done that. 8 players at the time so I mean so what was it like do the Canadians recognize that? I mean, because Canadians do love their Canadian football. I mean,
absolutely,
they do love the return game, because the return game with that big field is a big part of the offense.
Yeah, so it's different up there in Canada because you're gonna get a chance to return the ball. If you're a returner, you're gonna get returns, and you're gonna get kickoff returns and punt returns. You're gonna get those. So if you just say, "Hey, I'm just a returner up here in Canada," you're gonna get you some returns. NFL, not so much.
You're getting returns from field goals.
Oh yeah, field goals.
Yeah, because it's a 20-yard end zone. Yeah, so you're back there.
Kickoffs, punt returns.
Right.
You're gonna get your returns. So you don't have to worry about that. Like you go into a game, you might average 7 to 8 returns, 9 returns a game. Miss field goals, kickoff returns, and punt returns. Like one game, I had just punt returns alone. I had about, I think it was 8.
Wow.
Just punt returns.
Wow.
That wasn't including kickoff returns. So that game I had, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a total of, I think it was like 12. It's like 12 returns total.
Wow.
I'm like, whoa. Our offense couldn't score. Defense couldn't stop nobody. So it was like I kept like, okay, they kept scoring on us. So I'm going back there on kick return. And then our defense was getting us returns. So I was like, okay, you know, we kept it going. So I had like in one game.
Jeez.
Like 12 returns in one game. So you go up there, you're gonna get some returns. You ain't gotta worry about that. So
and then how different is the Montreal and Ottawa area? Obviously, you're in the more the French Canadian area there now. It's closer to the East Coast, obviously, bigger cities. So what was it like, and how did those fans then, reach out to you and make you feel welcome? Obviously, because you speak a different language.
Yeah, when I got to Montreal, it was a little different.
Yeah,
that's a French Canadian province, and everything is in French. So now you're trying to learn a little bit of French, but French, I think they say, is like the second or third hardest language to learn, which it is very hard to learn.
Yeah.
And I learned a little bit. I can't tell you it now, but when I was there, I can give you a complete sentence when I was there. Now, I think we and Dejan Stefan.
Yeah.
I know that. My name is Stefan. I forgot how you say your name. I forgot, but it's very hard to learn.
Comment allez-vous? Yeah, right. So it'll all come back. You jump up there. I'm sure it will come right back in a couple.
Right. So it was different when I got there in Montreal. So the only thing that was different because it was a French province, so they didn't really have a whole lot of English speaking people. So but the games was good. Everybody just come to the games. They speak their French over the PA system, then they're translated in English. They sung the national anthem. They sung it in French and English. So it was it was something to get a little used to. But once you got used to it, like I said, you adjust to it quick and you keep on going and play football because that's what you dare to do.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, obviously your career's over now. I know you're into the boat rental thing going on in Fort Lauderdale, which is a smart thing to get into. Talk to Steeler Nation a bit about your about the name of your boat rental place. Was it Low Squared, I believe?
Low Squared. Squared. That's the name of the boat.
Such a good name. I remember it, man. It pops right in there.
Yeah, it's called. Me and my wife, we started up. I've been boating now for about 10 years. I actually bought my boat. Bought my first boat after the year I was in Pittsburgh. I bought it in 2009.
What kind of boat?
I've been boating. Was it my boat or my jet ski? It was one of those. I think it was my jet ski. Yeah, it was my jet ski. Sorry, I bought my boat. I bought my first boat in 2014, and started doing the boating thing just for my own use. I go fishing every now and then, but I was more of a party. Right? Like I like to go out, bring my friends on, entertain. We all pitch in, get food, whether it's gas, go to the sandbar, have a good time.
Right.
And I was coaching when I got done playing football. I retired in 2019, and I was coaching. And COVID had just hit, so we all had to leave, come home. And in 2020, things started opening back up. So I was about to go back to Pennsylvania. I was at Lock Haven University in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I know that.
Far from Pittsburgh.
That's where I grew up. I grew up in the Williamsport area. That's all.
Oh yeah. No, that's it. And I was up there coaching at that school, at that college, smaller school, Division II. And when it was time for me to go back, my wife had ended up getting sick again. My wife has stage 4 cancer, and she ended up getting sick again. So it was like, okay, do I leave or do I stay here and manage and help out and do what I need to do as a husband at home?
Right.
So we kind of made the decision, like, I can't go. I got to stay here. And then we just was like, hey, we got to bring in money and keep money rolling in. So we was like, hey, her best friend was like, man, you got a gold mine right there, but you're not using it. I'm like, what? And she's like, man, why don't you rent the boat out? I said, oh.
Yeah.
And we posted it, and it was like, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. It was like, it was going and going and going. And that's what we've been doing for the last, I want to say maybe like 4 or 5 months. And it's been working for us. So we started our own charter company. Well, we won't even say like charter. We just say our own boat rental service. And it's called Low Square. So if you're ever in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. We'll shout that out at the end of the show. And
Yes, we
get in
will.
contact with me, man, and we'll get you out. And trust me, you will have a good time. That's one thing
Nice.
you will remember that.
And what kind of boat you have?
We actually switching boats right now. We
Okay.
had I had a center console, 30-foot center console. That was more like a speed boat. So we switched
Yeah.
over, got a 26-foot bow rider. That's like a full,
Yeah.
got seats. It seats 12 people. It's a nice
Oh,
size boat.
yeah.
Now we switching from that boat to a bigger boat from a 2026 to it's almost like another 30-foot boat, but this one
Okay.
has a cabin and everything, and it's
Oh,
still
nice.
you can sit on the bow out in the front, you can walk, you can stand up, but I
Mm.
also have the back area where people can stand up, party, dance, kick it. But we switched over to get the cabin because
Right.
when we out in that sun, it's like 80 and 90 degrees when we out there. Like my wife can't be in that sun like that.
Right.
So when when we get to the sandbars or the different islands we go to, or we cruising, whatever we doing, and if it's too hot, my wife can go down in the cabin and she can sit down and get out of the sun because it got air conditioning. They got got a stand up shower, got air conditioning. It has a a stove, has a microwave, TV. It got everything that I need, not only for me but for my wife. And that's why we had to switch over. We still can entertain our people, which we are.
Yeah.
But we got something that I need to cater to my wife to as well.
And I'm glad that you're looking after her too. Like you're mentioning, I'm sorry to hear that she has the stage 4 cancer going on. How has your life changed now, or how are you and your wife and the family all dealing and interacting and helping her throughout her process?
Well, my wife got diagnosed with cancer in 2016. So
Okay.
she's been dealing with it since 2016, almost 5 years or whatnot.
Right.
And almost 6 years. And it's been, I'm not going to say it's been a roller coaster, but it has, it kind of has ups and downs with it.
Right.
It's mostly from the pills. When she take the chemo pills, because my wife had to go through the whole process.
Yeah.
And, go through losing her hair, the breast, now it's in her stomach, and losing weight, gaining weight, hands is brittle, feet brittle. Like it's a process that you have to go through. But my wife always says it's not, you don't let cancer define you as a person. And if you follow my wife's page, Love versus Low, that's her page, Love versus Low, on Instagram, you will see like my wife is energetic like me. She always got a smile on her face. She's a very happy, joyful person, and she don't let cancer define who she is as a person. And if you follow her page, you will see like you wouldn't think she have cancer unless somebody tell you. If she don't tell you, you won't even know. So, my wife is a breath of fresh air is how I call her.
Oh, that's
she
awesome.
keeps me going no matter what I'm going through, no matter how the day is going. She always give me good advice to look towards something totally different. Even though she's dealing with what she's dealing with, she always have great advice for me no matter what I'm dealing with, how I'm feeling, what I'm going through. She's going to be there for me. So I do the same in return for her.
That's great. And I'm glad that they're both to support each other. And I'm glad that, you're still enjoying your time, enjoying the boat, doing the low squared, which is both of your names, the Logans and the LO. I love that.
Yeah.
And I
Low
just love
squared,
that.
baby. That's it.
So are you currently still following the Steelers at all? Do you still watch the games and everything?
Yeah, I still follow the Steelers. I still watch what they do. I still watch the games. I have a couple of my nephews are Steelers fans because I played.
Nice.
And one of my nephews, Demarius Patterson, he stays in Atlanta. He's a diehard Steelers fan. Like he's a Steelers fan, and he sent me a message the other day. He sent me a video, and he was like, I can't. He just was so lost because he was like, how do I explain this to people? Because I didn't see the game, right? Because we didn't get that game at the time. We had got the other game, and he was like, how could I speak on this? Because I guess Ben had threw that interception right into the linebacker. Right. He was like, what is this? And I was like, hey, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good and bad. I say still, it's having a bad time right now. New team. They got some young players. Ben is the older player. And I said, it's having a tough time right now. I said, but give him a little time. He was like, but I don't get it. I said, some stuff, son, you ain't gonna get.
Yeah.
But if you're still a fan, keep cheering for him. And we laugh about it. I joke with him. You know, he's a real football. He's a real Steelers fan, and became a Steelers fan because of me. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's. Yeah, but I still follow the Steelers. I still see what's going on. I still see what Mike Tomlin talk about, which I heard and I read. I got an email sent to me that he still uses me as an example.
Oh yeah,
to the team, and the Steelers had put it in a newspaper, and it was sent to me by my old agent. He sent it to me, and somebody on Facebook sent it to me, and it was like, you know, Mike Tomlin still talks about you in the locker room. I was like, wow, that was 2009. It's 2021. Right? At least I know I left a mark on the coaches. So that's all. That's like I say, stuff like that is always, you know, makes me get warm and fuzzy. Stuff like that.
That's great. So what specifically does Mike Tomlin say about you in the locker room?
He talks about when, like if it's your last shot, your last chance of making a team. Yeah. He always say, man, we had this young kid that came from a small school, and no-name kid came in here his last game of the season, and he won our heart when he ran a punt back. That's how he made this team. And he was a little fighting little guy. He always did everything we needed him to do, everything we asked of him to do, and that's how he made this Steelers team of being coachable, but his work ethic was great. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Appreciate that, Mike Tomlin, man. Keep giving them shout out to these young boys, man. Yeah. You know your boy always here, man.
That's awesome. That is a great story, and I'm glad you're still in the hearts and minds of a great coach like Mike Tomlin as well. You being a running back, you looking at the team right now, what do you see that at least out of the Steelers offense that they're doing well right now in the running games where they're moving toward the right direction, and what can they do a little bit better just to get over that hump?
I think if they're going to get over the hump a little bit, they got to address the offensive line. That's one thing they have to do. And to protect Ben, you have to do a little more three-step. That's how you protect your quarterback. Three-step, get the ball out of his hand. That's why you got playmakers. You got these young, fast receivers. They got to be able to catch the ball to get away from all them drops.
Right.
Catch the ball on three-step, protect Ben, but you also protect the offensive line. Go with your play action because you got a nice running back in the backfield.
Yeah.
So that's going to bring you – when you do the play action, that's going to bring the linebackers up.
And I watched that Cincy game. Everybody's keying on him now. It looks like everybody's watching Najee every play, first down. They're all keying on Najee Harris.
Right. And you got to have your offensive coordinator got to be open-minded. That's why if I ever was the coach again, the one thing I did learn from my GM, and he was my special teams coach when I was in Canada, Cavis Reed, he was a very open-minded coach. Like if I had a suggestion or I had a strategy that I knew would work, he was like, tell me what it is, let's draw it up, and let's practice it. And if it worked, or if it get us yards, or it's gonna be successful, we're gonna use it. It didn't matter if I came up with it, he came up with it, another guy on the team came up with it. He didn't care. He just wanted to win, and he wanted things to work in our favor. So I think that's what the Steelers, they offensive coordinator have to be open-minded, but they have to do some things and change it up to help being an older veteran quarterback that's been in the league for 16 years to protect
forever.
Him.
Yeah, jeez.
And to protect the offensive line.
Yeah.
That's what I think they need to do. Now they're going to get his touches.
Yeah.
But don't put that load on him. He's a rookie.
Right.
Don't put that load on him like that. Because when you put that load on, then they start getting hurt. Now they can't focus like they need to. Because now they feel like every time they get the ball, they got to take it 60, 70 yards, which they don't need to. So take some of the load off of him. Do more play action, do more three-step, protect Ben and the offensive line, and let those playmakers that you got them young receivers out there, let them work a little bit because those guys been there longer than Najee. You got Ben to get them the ball and let them work.
Perfect.
And I think that'll help them a little bit more.
I'm hiring you for coach right now. That's great. And on the defensive side, at least, I'm on the side where I think the talent there. I think the scheme is there. I think we got the playmakers. We're a little banged up right now. I think we start getting some of these players back, especially when you're missing your top two outside linebackers. I think this defense is really going to help get that offense to football a couple more times.
I'm an offensive guy, so I watch both sides of the ball, and I know they had Bush as a starting linebacker. I don't know what his situation is. I actually know his brother that trains him, and I know his brother down here in Miami. I don't know what the situation is with him. I don't know if his play had, the plays, his play level went down. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still hurt, but I think he's a solid linebacker. Their defensive line is solid, but they got to get a little more pressure on the quarterbacks a little bit.
Yeah.
Secondary is decent. They're not the greatest, but they can pass. They better than Tampa Bay secondary. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
And I think when your offense, because it goes both ways. When your offense is not getting you as much play on and keeping y'all off the field, your defense stay on the field. And after a while they get tired.
Yeah.
And when they start getting tired, that's when you start wearing them out. Now it looks like the defense is not as good, but the defense on the field too much.
Right.
And if your defense is on the field too much and you're not up in the lead, you're gonna lose the game.
Right.
So you can blitz all you want. They got to get more pressure on the quarterback, though. They do got to get more pressure.
Yeah. First game they got.
Once they do that, I think things will start falling in place for them. I think they might have to change the scheme up just a little bit, just change it up just a little bit. Put guys in different areas and let them play football.
Yeah.
Let them work a little bit. And sometimes you have to do that. You got to turn the dogs loose and say, listen, this is what we're going to do. X, Y, and Z. Now, you ain't got to do all that thinking. Yeah. All you got to do now is rush the passer.
Thank you, Coach Logan. Perfect.
Guys can play a lot better.
Right. And solid words from Coach Logan. Take them to heart there, Steeler Nation. That's awesome.
I'm here for I'm here for whatever people need, man.
That is great. I love your positivity and I love your attitude, man. This is a fun conversation.
Thank you.
And now we're at the point of the talk where we start taking questions from Steeler Nation. Today's is sponsored by MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag and use promo code Steeler, STEELER, to double your first deposit and get instant access to the $50,000 survivor pool. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. And don't forget that promo code Steeler to double your initial deposit. And these questions come from SteelerNation.com, our football forum. And membership is free. Come on over to SteelerNation.com, guys. You want to talk some great football. It's not just Steelers, it's football all in general, but majority of it is Steelers. Steeler Nation. So the first question comes from Steeler Nation member /Steel. He says, we know about Logan the player. What about Logan the man? I think we've pretty much gone over that the entire conversation. We've gotten to know you pretty well, but is there anything else you want to, do you have children? What's your family life like?
My family life is great. I can't complain. I have kids. I have kids of my own. I have 4 kids of my own. My wife has 2 kids. And, we try to keep, we always try to keep a open-minded house. If you have anything that's bothering you, bring it to the table. Right. We sit down, we have little chit chats, we have dinners, we have family time. It's a lot of things we do outside of what we show on Instagram and social media because we don't feel like you got to put everything on social media all the time. Right. So, now I'm a husband now, got married last year, July. So I'm still a newlywed. So I'm still learning. I'm still, like I said, I'm still having a good time. I still enjoy life to the utmost because I watch my wife every day and I see what she goes through. So that gives me a different perspective about life. So that kind of changes things just a little bit when I'm out doing things. I always think about my wife before I make any, whether it's a good or bad decision. I always think about what she would say or what she would do because you don't want to make the wrong decision and cause harm to the family.
No, well said. Well said, my friend. Cooley has a question for you. What does it take to make a good kick returner in the NFL?
What does it take to be a great kick returner in the NFL? First and foremost, catch the ball. That's the first thing you got to do. Yes. The first thing you need to do is catch the ball. That is a given. That has to be not a given, but that has to be something that you do naturally. Catch the ball. Right. Secondly, you got to have great vision. And you got to be able to do what you're asked, but at the same time, put your own little twist on it. Because sometimes coaches can say, hey, run here and run. It don't happen like that when you're out there, because you're looking at the players, a block. He might have missed a block. You gotta have some good hips, some good wiggle room when you're back there to make things work for you. So catch the ball, like I tell my son, catch first, do work second. And be willing to trust your block. That's one thing you gotta have. You gotta have some trust in them guys up there blocking for you, because it might be a hole this big and you run, you like, man, ain't nothing there. Keep going, because there's something there. It's about to open up in a minute. But you have to trust those guys in front, because they trust you when you back there catching that ball. They're not even looking back to make sure you catch the ball. They already know you got it.
And it helps to be that elite running back coming from the Div 2 South Dakota team, man. You got to see how to read blocks. That really kind of, to me, it would kind of even slow down a little bit, because the blocks are so much farther apart in the return game. So it's like, well, I can move this way to get this guy going on that side, and then go around on the other side. That's gotta be so
set
fun
your blocks
for you.
up, man. You got to set your blocks up, and you got that distance in between that'll help you set your blocks up. So that's that. I say, catch first, do work second.
Nice. And MTC writes, I like Stefan. Dude was fast. And was it intimidating playing in the NFL at your size? Obviously, with you being 5'6" and the rest of the league being this monstrous bodies coming at you, even especially on special teams too.
Yeah.
Was it ever intimidating for you playing in the NFL?
No, it wasn't, to be honest with you, because like you said, I played running back, so I was actually going against some of the biggest guys on the team as the D line. You got 300, 320, 340 plus size guys. So I'm going against the biggest guys on the team every play. So I got the fear of it, wasn't there anymore. Now it's just trying not to take a solid hit from a guy running 40 yards down the field, and you don't see him, or a guy whiff a block on the backside and get wiped out. That was kind of like more of a fear of anything. But no, I didn't have the fear when I was out there. I was more of a I know I can do it. I know I can get it done. My size didn't matter. I couldn't let that play a part in what I wanted to do and how I wanted to be a great football player. So that always helped me. I always said size didn't matter, age didn't matter.
Right.
Hey, when we came out of college, you went to Division I, you went to Alabama, this guy went to Florida, this guy went to Clemson, this guy went to UAB. I went to University of South Dakota, but all us on the same field at the same time, so it don't even matter.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. MTC, he says, I'm a fitness junkie. Any general training secrets the Steelers did as a team in terms of programming, or were the workouts customized based on the individual and the position?
Yes, they did have specific workouts for certain players. Different groups, we had workouts. Like what is his name? He's still there. He's the strength and conditioning guy.
Is it Norwig? Is that the right guy?
I think that's the trainer. I think
trainer. Okay, yeah.
I think that's trainer. I forgot his name, but this guy, that guy was a great strength and conditioning guy. He would tell you everything that you needed to work on your body in order for you to be healthy and a great football player. Despite injuries going to happen over the course of time, that's just how football is, a physical sport. But we had specific drills that we would do for the running backs, wide receivers, linebackers, and so forth. Everybody had different training that they would do. And if you needed something specific just for you and your body of what you like, he'll make a workout for you just that quick, and you'll be in and out in no time. So the training style that we had, the strength and conditioning coach that we had in Pittsburgh, man, was a great
was that Garrett? Was that Garrett?
Yeah. Him. He was awesome. And that's Mike Tomlin, right hand man. If you watching the games, he's always about Mike Tomlin walking back and forth. And man, he's a great dude, great strength and conditioning coach. So we did have different workouts pertaining to different players, because a D lineman, he want to be, 315, 400 pounds pushing weight. A guy like me, 135, 185, 190, that was good for me, because I wasn't a big guy, but I needed to keep my fast twitch muscles going fast, because that's what style of player I was.
I hear you. And do you keep in touch with any of the guys in your football career, whether it's the Steelers, Lions, or any of the Canadian teams you played on?
Yes, I do. I do stay in touch with some of the guys. We talk a lot on. Most of the guys I talk to be on social media. Like me and Nate Burleson, that's one of my good friends. Me and him talk throughout the week. He's on a new show now and on CBS. And I actually talked to him yesterday, actually. And I still talk to a couple other guys too. Like I talked to Will Gay. I talked to him a couple months ago.
Yeah.
He's coaching. There's a couple other guys I've talked to as well. It's not all the time.
Yeah.
Even in the CFL, we all message each other mostly through Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. So we keep in contact, because once you're done with playing football, you're just an average person now.
Right.
But I always say what you left on the field when you was out there, that'll see how you is when you're done playing. Now you'll see who your friends really are when you're done playing, because now they're going to still keep in contact with you when you're not carrying the football anymore.
Nice. And Steeler Nation, you can keep in contact with Stefan Logan on his social media, Instagram at Stefan Logan, STEFANLOGAN _0, and Facebook, Stefan Logan, STEFANLOGAN. Obviously, follow your wife as well. What is it? Love versus Low, and which platform is that on?
That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. Sorry.
Instagram.
My wife is an Instagram junkie. Her Facebook is probably I think the name on her Facebook is Jennifer Logan. If you want to follow that one, her Instagram is Love versus Low. And if you can't find it, tag me on Instagram, send me a message, and I'll tag her page, and you can go follow her and see her whole journey of what she do. And she's a very, very entertaining young lady. I'll tell you that.
Awesome.
She's good in front of the camera. She's funny. She has her own. She's got great spirits. Despite her having cancer, you won't even know her. You'll really enjoy what she does on Instagram.
Well, that's great. And obviously support them both. You're down in the Miami area. You need a boat. Low Squared, LO, the raised number 2 boat rental.
Yes. If you need a boat and you want to have a good time, man, and you're looking for it's a great time out on the water, hit us up on Low Squared. We also have our boat page. It's called Low Squared Boating. If you can follow us on that. But like I said, if you hit me up on Instagram, I can get you all the information to all this stuff, and we can go from there. But like I said, that's us.
And Stefan, you've been an absolute pleasure. I really respect you and your time, and thank you for taking such a big part of your day just to be part of Steeler Nation. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know your story, man.
Y'all see the jersey in the bag, man. Hey, I wore that 11 with pride, man. You see it, man. You see it. Hey, Steeler Nation, man. I really appreciate y'all having me on the podcast, man. Great host, man. You doing your absolute. And I hope I'm waiting to see this show just take off, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Well, we'll be taking off. It airs obviously 2 p.m. Fridays on the DK Pittsburgh Sports Network, the Steeler Nation podcast. And thank you, once again. I mean, anytime you have anything, give me a buzz, shout out. We're happy to promote what you got, Stefan. Steeler Nation, you too can get great unique gifts over at SteelerNation.com gear page. Every size, color, great choices for all of Steeler Nation and your virtual tailgates. Come on over to SteelerNation.com. We also have the best site for fast, unique Steelers content on the internet. Great football forum. Come on over. You get to ask these great questions to all of our great players, current players, former players, alumni, coaches. Be the first to ask these questions here on our podcast by being a member over at the Steeler Nation Football Forum at SteelerNation.com. Subscribe to the Steeler Nation YouTube channel. Be the first to know about our vidcasts and live casts and our video film breakdowns at YouTube/Steeler Nation. Tweet us at Steeler Nation. Instagram us at SteelerNation.com. Follow Steeler Nation Podcast on Twitter at _SN Podcast. And you can even follow your host, Steeler Nation Stryker, SN Stryker, at SN Stryker spelled with a Y, on Instagram, on Twitter, and now on Colorcast. I'm jumping on Colorcast. We're going to have a Colorcast here in a few seconds where the fans can be part of it as well. And what you do is you can come on and I can have you on and we get your hot takes directly on the air. I will be casting during the game on Colorcast. So if you have an iPhone, if you have an iPad, download the free Colorcast app. So you can chat with me during the game. We can vent together. We can have a great time. And it's better than talking to the talking heads or listen to the talking heads. Let's have a fun time this weekend. Colorcast, go over at Colorcast app, get the Colorcast app, Apple people, and I'll be chatting with you then. In Steeler Nation, if you like to bet sports, there's no other better place to do it than mybookie.ag. Come on over, promo code Steeler, Steeler. They will double your initial investment. You're already winning money just joining with promo code Steeler. They're entering you into the $50,000 eliminator pool for free just from joining. So I'd rather have Steeler Nation winning these $50,000 contests than Ravens or Raiders or Cincinnati Bengals fans. So get on out there, Steeler Nation. Make yourself heard over at mybookie.ag and win yourself some money utilizing your promo code Steeler, Steeler. Thank you for joining us on the Steeler Nation podcast, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises and part of the DK's Pittsburgh Sports Podcast Network. I'm your host, G Stryker, with Stefan Logan, rooting along with you, as always. Go